All right, everybody, you get yourselves in here. This is going to be a live stream that you are going to cherish at least until tomorrow when we do our next one, because this one I've been building for a while and I really think you're going to like it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Of course, welcome in, welcome in. We have a party to have and a country to save. So if you guys are willing, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on if you want to save the country and align with what I'm about to deliver. I'd love to have you along for the ride. All right, people, listen, as we get into this, I'm telling you, this is going to be a fun one. So make sure you got the audio, the video's good. Make sure we are good across the board. I see the chats that are coming in. And of course, everything is linked in the description box below. Per usual, I keep all my receipts provided for you so you can tell that I'm A, not lying. I stay 100% clickbait free. And B, you can make your own content because you know what, it's down or whatever. All right, I see everybody getting in here. This is amazing. Thank you guys so much for tuning in right when the notification bell decided to get up off its ass and do something. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, chats, comments, emojis. That does, in fact, kick the notification bell out of its mom's basement. All right, guys, you're going to have a good one, and I'm just going to do the super chat that I just got because that's a very quick super chat. Ruby Hoove with a $10 super chat with a cute little fox holding a heart thing. I don't know what that is, but I like it. All right, here we go. We have got to do something. We do it every single time. Chats, comments, emojis, make the world go round. I can't talk and type at the same time there. All right, so you guys know the rule. Once I pin it, it is off to the races. And as a standard operating procedure, if you guys are new here, or if you're the veterans of the chat, veterans of the channel, as it were, you guys are, of course, deputized to handle any type of those pesky lefties that seem to follow us around and say they hate us, but sure do tune in for every single show. They show up in the chat. They're mostly nice people, so hand them with kid gloves. Defend the honor of the chat and our country. Do it tastefully and do it amazingly well as you have prior. And we are now off to the races. You see all those tabs up there, guys? I'm gonna be honest to God. We're going to try to get through all of them. I don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to give the old college try. All right, here we go. If they weren't here, if you aren't here already, I don't know what to tell you. Now, this one is a good one because we're doing something a little bit special this tonight's show. Normally, I start out on appetizer, and I always say, hey guys, look at the stupid we're facing, because there's a plethora of dumb that's available. However, this one we're going to go in an inspirational angle because this is incredible. I absolutely love this on a level I have a hard time fully expressing, and I'm a content creator, okay? Now, this woman just passed her citizenship. She just became a citizen. This is what it's all about. This is what I'm here for. I want more of this. I want all of this. This is incredible. Watch this. If this doesn't give you the goosebumps, check yourself. You might be dead. Let's get it, and then we're going to make fun of some lefties. But let's get this part first because it's incredible to lead with the positive. Watch this.
I just became an American citizen. I can call myself an American now. This is a huge achievement of my life. I fought like crazy tooth and nails, and I was through a long and tedious process, I might add, to get here. But it's finally time to call myself an American. I just took an oath of allegiance, and this is the best day of my life so far. I love it.
F yeah. That's incredible. Guys, if that doesn't give you goosebumps for the promise of our nation across the entire planet, I don't know what does. That woman just went through the entire immigration process, and now the best day of her life is becoming an American citizen. Somebody get her on an interview, because that's incredible. And it's not just her. There's tons of them. There's tons and tons and tons of people who are doing it the right way, who are adding to our country, and who are making it a better place for everybody. That's what I want to see. Now we're going to talk about the lefties and how we're kicking the crap out of them in ice for the people who aren't doing it. All right. Let me hear some love in the comments and chat for that one, because I think that's really, really good. Leonard Johnson with a $20 super chat says, earlier today you mentioned MS Now. Maybe you should call it BS Now. That's pretty good. I might actually adopt that. I'll try it out later in this chat because this is a good opportunity because we got it coming along right this second. Ruby Hoove with a $5 super chat says, congratulations to her. She did it right. That is absolutely correct. We are going to burn past the obligatory break. There you go. You got it. All right, let's keep trucking. Here we go. Now back to the part where you just go, what are they thinking? What's going on up in their little cerebellums? Well, guys, do you recall when I said, hey, guys, the ICE thing has run its mileage. They're going to abandon it. that quickly, like drop it like rock. They're going to jettison that bad boy. Exactly what I said was they're going to jettison it. Yeah, I'm about to show you a clip of CNN talking out to or calling out soy boy Mayor Fry, whatever, I don't care, over here from Minneapolis about something really awkward and uncomfortable with that whole ICE thing. It's weird, but I don't know why they must have just now discovered it. We're gonna watch the clip of the CNN anchor raking this guy over the coals, and then you guys can tell me how they magically just found this, because I mean that's the only explanation, right? Is magically discovered what's going on. It's got to be it, right? No, it's not it. Watch this.
It is worth noting that during the Obama years, the Hennepin County Jail actually had a policy where they let an ICE agent keep an office there and allowed them to talk to immigrants. So the policy has clearly been, under a Democratic president, what now the Trump administration is asking for. I mean, big picture, do you think it's good policy for the jails to follow an ICE detainer and hand someone over if they've committed a crime? And again, this only happens after they've served their time, for whatever crime they may have committed against the people of Minnesota.
I mean, look, you're asking all the right questions here. And while I don't have full expertise in how the operations at the jail are conducted, again, that's not our jurisdiction. What I would say is that there are mechanisms to do this lawfully.
It is worth noting that during...
Hey, you will talk when I hit the play button, ma'am. All right, guys, I don't know if you saw it when up in the little corner up here where I do this little number. That's called the political Heisman. Wait a minute. How? Pray tell me. Please, find a lefty. I'm sure we'll get him in the chat. I've got a nice little following, very loyal. How is it possible that after covering ICE for the past 4 to 5 weeks ad nauseum, magically, all of a sudden, they have discovered that Obama's ICE and Obama's Department of Homeland Security was doing the exact same thing at a higher frequency than Donald Trump? How all of a sudden did they just now find that out? Don't you find that very odd and weird? I'm perplexed beyond measure. I'm feeling animated tonight. I don't know why. We're only 3 tabs in. So how, I mean, like, my God, isn't it just interesting how they turn certain things on and turn certain things off when it's necessary for their political narrative? Because this little soy boy right here, he did nothing but inflame the rhetoric and inflame all these Antifa people that we showed you were getting arrested today. Governor Walz bent over a barrel. Tom Homan's got him as his little friend. And this guy is just still trying to remain relevant. How did that happen? Just asking for a friend. Okay, let's keep on trucking. I thought that was important. Again, we're only in the appetizers. Maybe, guys, I know, and I'm so out of touch. Maybe, again, I'm from the 80s. That's what I was born in the 80s. I mean, like, I'm so old. I was like last century. Maybe I'm just out of it. But maybe, just perchance, the reason that the Dems and the media are abandoning the whole ICE talking points is something like this. Because the population has a supermajority opinion of deporting illegals. Maybe. I don't know. And let me throw another example on the pyre here for you. You remember Venezuela? That big flashpoint that the left tried to latch onto for about 10 minutes? And then after that, they realized that the Hispanic vote and the population were all like, nah, I'm cool with it. And they stopped talking about it. It's the biggest outrage in the world. And then all of a sudden it doesn't exist. Seriously. Propaganda, London fog, cut through it with a knife, straight up Bugs Bunny style. That's what we're trying to do on this channel. But anyway, let's keep on going. I've got everything linked in the description box, and there's more supermajority for you right there. You can't make this stuff up, guys. I mean, I have almost a full-time job fighting lefties' lies. I mean, honestly, a lot of the other part of it is there's a whole lot more going on too. But a lot of my content is just like, well, I can't not cover that lie. That's too easy to shoot down from orbit. Anyway, there's the 61%. Let's see what we're going to next. Oh my goodness gracious. I swear I forgot this one was in here. Overwhelming supermajority of Americans oppose the lawless, chaotic, and dangerous sanctuary policies that have protected criminal illegal immigrants. I can't imagine why they would. CNN would start asking real questions, and then the Democrats would abandon that talking point. I don't know. There's more on that later. That makes an appearance in a second when Chucky Schumer is getting literally roasted. But we'll come back to that. So put a little pin in that for a second, because now the commies are letting their mask slip. Okay, so this one requires a little bit of fun. So get your fun hats on, guys. Make sure you have your beverage of choice. What am I trying to do? Whatever. Get your beverage of choice, your favorite snack, of course, because we're going to go into commie land. So do you remember up in New York when Comrade Zoran Mamdani was elected, and it was all about socialist this and socialist that and freezing the rent and raising the taxes, even though he didn't have the ability to raise taxes, and no one seemed to understand that. But he can't do it. It's impossible. But he's still going to deliver this socialist utopia. And then there was a big talking point from Kathy Hochul, and I'll do a whole video on this because this is a really good summation of this. There's a whole video from Kathy Hochul saying we can't raise taxes. Our people are going to leave. Our tax base will leave, and we will have no one to tax. Yeah, please see Electoral College. Anyway, this is what they've come to because they all said, no, people won't leave. They would never leave. It's New York's their home. They would love to continue to fund us in all of our lifestyles because it's taxes. It's fair. This is when the mask slips. Because the communist and the socialist, they always do the exact same thing. Everything is hunky-dory and happy day until all of their dreams fall apart because this little pesky thing called freedom of choice. And then all of a sudden, they have to curtail freedom of choice. It happens every single time. There's a 100-year history of socialism and communism failing for this reason. 100 million dead in the 20th century alone due to that form of government. I don't know. Seems like a bad idea. But let's let this genius right here explain how they're going to stop the millionaires from leaving New York City. Again, mask, full off. Watch this.
What do you say to those folks who say, well, if you tax millionaires, they're going to leave the city, and the top 1% pays 40% of the taxes in the city, so what happens if they leave? What's your response?
Well, that's what I would say. It's like we should take their business, and we run it like for our, like the city ourselves.
So if they take their business to Florida, you feel like you can keep it here?
I mean, they can't leave the building. They can't like just bring their whole entire workforce to Florida, right? They can't bring all of like the resources that they have to like build the business here to Florida, right? That's a whole thing. And that's where...
Okay, we're going to come back to this genius of economic theory here in a second. Yo, behold your opponents. I like saying behold your opponents a lot because it really is just wow. So your big take here, when you raise taxes, and your big thing is, oh my goodness, everyone's going to pay because the rich are finally going to be soaked. The proletariat are going to have their day against the bourgeoisie, and all the rich will give us their riches, and we will be happy, fat and happy, until that runs out is consumed, and then we'll have to tax somebody else. Because they can't look at history, and they can't look at economics, they can't educate themselves on those things, so they're just going to go out and greed, envy, and basically stupid. So, when you raise the taxes, and all of a sudden, magically, the tax base leaves, well, that's going to be a problem. We're just gonna not allow you to leave. Really? Say that again? How's that gonna work? Well, you don't take the people with you. No, you hire different ones. This is not difficult. They can't take the building. No. They get a different building, and it's a hell of a lot cheaper, and there's a lower tax base, and they hire other people, and those other people have moved to that area because jobs are available. This is why you have no you have no electoral power anymore, moron. But don't worry, there's an even better solution. This is the lefty, okay? This is the guy who is following Comrade Mamdani around. These are the, oh my goodness, he's going to change things, even though he has no power to do it. They openly tell you every single time. It never fails. But there's more. Watch. How are they going to stop? How are they going to do it? Keep that capital. God in heaven, these people are stupid.
You would even say, like, if we're building a real movement, right, to, like, stop that, we'd also, like, make it illegal for them to, like, actually, like, leave, right? We would fine them to hell if they're going to try to, like, abandon their property here, right? Because clearly people do need to work, right? People do need to, like, make a living, so...
I actually debated how I was going to do that right there. Okay, so let's just get this fully straight. You're going to fine the hell out of them for leaving. You're going to make it illegal for a human being, a United States citizen, to move to a different state. And you have a problem with ICE? What the hell is wrong with you? But it's not about anything other than power structure, greed, and envy. That's the entire point. The rich will stay, and they will be our tax pigs, and they will be our is it pigs? Tax sow, pig, tax, whatever, tax animal. We're just going to tax them. They're going to be part of our little rich people farm. And we're just getting all their money. And if they try to leave, we're going to fine them and we're going to make it illegal to leave. That's called prison. Like, what about the brain synapses don't work? Honest to God. Because this right here is like the AOC, Mamdani, Bernie Sanders voter. Okay, this isn't even Antifa. This is just dumb. But they say it out loud, and this is actually a thought process. Okay, we've established this. All right, let's keep on trucking. We have got so much to do, so little time. Natural break. This is the point, guys, where we get into the next vibe. I had a little bit of an elevation spike there with the commie right there. A whole lot of CNN basically calling out Soy Boy in Minnesota, and then a really good, amazing Patriot spike at the beginning. So we've had a really good intro to this. So now, what we're going to go through is how Kamala Harris just punked the crap out of all the Democrats. Because last night I showed you all these little responses that were going around, and they were saying, oh my gosh, the K-Hive is back, Kamala's back, oh my God, the right leader for the right moment, finally, oh my goodness gracious, I'm like shaking. All post, you can look at it, I showed you. Yeah, then she dropped what she was going to drop. And I swear, they are gluttons for punishment. All right, let's just get it. You've had your break. Make sure you hit that comment, hit a comment. Chats, emojis, make the world go round. Do a friend a favor. Defend the chat's honor with those lefties wander in. And of course, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. All right, guys, good rule of thumb. And you guys can hear me right over here in the, you can add to this in the chat over here. If you're getting punked by the GOP, the standard GOP email, like X feed, if you are meme fodder for the GOP X feed, Kamala, you're doing it wrong, boo. Because they are clowning on them so hard. Big news tomorrow, 20626. The exact same thing that Kamala Harris did. Only difference is Kamala Harris thinks that she's going to be the next nominee. And so do the Democrats. Oh, yeah. I'm hearing rumblings, by the way, that the Democrats are flirting with the idea of Kamala Harris with an AOC kicker. Oh, my God. Oh, the content writes itself. But here you go. Harris is winning the front runner position in the Democrat Party. 34% to Gavin Newsom's 20%. So the Gavster is sliding. And here's the interesting part about this. I know a lot of people would instinctively say, oh, well, obviously they're going to do Harris as the presidential and Newsom as the VP. No, they won't do that. And the reason that they will not do that, like literally political malpractice, is simply because they're both from California. You just don't do that. Because everyone already has a stinky smell look on their face whenever California is mentioned politically. So you put two politicians from California and they're both far leftist. One's slimy and one is kind of off-putting. And I'm saying that politely. That'll go great. But anyway, let's keep on trucking because now I'm going to show you what she actually did to all of the Democrats and her viewers that were so excited for her to make a presidential announcement. CNN is calling this cringe. CNN. Y'all, the GOP is mocking you. Like the General X account is making actual good jokes on you. And then CNN is calling you cringe. Holy crap. Okay, watch this. This is Dana Batch's voice you're going to hear.
By the way, the handle they're using, you can see there, we're zooming in on it, at headquarters_67. 67, as the kids used to say. Well, used to say a lot of things. And I think they also used to say, that's probably cringe.
Y'all, when you're losing CNN, wow. And by the way, editor's note, this is an addendum, just an add-on real quick. Something's going on at CNN. They are all of a sudden doing like everything pro-Republican, pro-Trump, all the metrics, everything is happening. It's like the ICE thing went away and they're like, ah, shit. And so now they're going like full the other way. I got lots of clips coming. Seriously, videos tomorrow all day, we've got 3 videos a day. Okay, so make sure you got that notification bell on. Even if he's being a lazy bastard, you still got to do it. And then, anyway, let's keep on going with this. Super chat from Jeremy Willis, $10. I can't read that. I can't read the front of that. America's not ready. You know what, Jeremy Wills, I can't read that. I'm sorry. I will get smoked on the internet. I can't do that on live YouTube. They will kill me. But I appreciate your attempt to get me just completely shit canned. Oh, that's funny. All right, let's keep on trucking. Now, as we continue on with this, that was a funny super chat. Sorry. Yeah, that's right. Getting clowned by CNN and the GOP. So Steven Crowder says starting a Gen Z-led progressive content hub was the big announcement. Big announcement coming tomorrow, K-Hive. Oh, what was it? What was it? Oh, yeah, we're going to make an Instagram account. Score. All right, so now we're getting into the really interesting part about this because I don't just like give you tidbits. I give you the whole thing, okay? So this whole post is about where the money comes from. And what's really, truly interesting is you see some very familiar names, but I'm going to start off with these two geniuses. So these two were from the actual Kamala Harris campaign in charge of the social media wing. Okay, that's what these two did. The Biden-Harris campaign, whatever, right? That's where they came from, and that's why they're here in charge of the new Kamala headquarters 6-7 thing. Okay, well, I want to show you some money behind this because I just think this is really interesting. And by interesting, I mean corrupt, and by corrupt, I mean same old characters. So when you go into this a little bit, I just want to bring this part right here. So headquarters funding comes from the leftist nonprofit, my words are struggling tonight, People for the American Way and Brian Tyler Cohen's Chorus. You know what's interesting about that name, Brian Tyler Cohen? He's a leftist propagandist on YouTube and on X, and he debates things like people on Piers Morgan, like Brandon Tatum. He's that guy that looks like someone kicked his puppy whenever Gavin Newsom's talking in the interview. Brown hair, kind of weak looking. Yeah, that's him. But he's a far lefty, and so he's involved in rebranding and funding Kamala Harris's thing, which, side note, I thought all the lefties were against profit and margin and all that revenue. I thought that was a bad thing. I guess it's only bad for people, it's not them. But anyway, People for the American Way receives most of its funding from George Soros's Open Society Foundation. Well, what do you know? Kamala Harris's new little rebranding switch is being run by some Gen Zers from her political campaign that went like the worst in human history. And then it's also being funded by George Soros's Open Societies. Creepy dude, as Glenn Beck calls him, is now in charge of Kamala Harris's new big account. Wow. And then there's a few more things here. I think this is interesting. I'm just going to read it because I don't really like Brian Tyler Cohen. I'm going to say it. I don't even care. Brian Tyler Cohen was recently exposed in a scandal. This is the lefty progressive, by the way. For receiving dark money from the 1630 Fund and paying up to $8,000 a month to influencers like Olivia Juliana. And I'm just going to stop and tell you what these people are. Olivia Juliana is that young lady in Texas who was running the How to Get Men Back on Board with the DNC, and she got fired and got smoked for obvious reasons, and her X account is very, very funny. That's her. David Pakman, another soy boy leftist who sits there and complains on X. Very similar to Brian Tyler Cohen. JoJo from Jers, an X account who has the most foul-mouthed responses to anything. All she does is drop an F-bomb or three, and that's her whole post. Politics Girl is the girl who sits in front of her fridge and then gets on CNN and starts ranting and raving about politics. Like that's who they're dealing with. $8,000 a month coming from George Soros to them. Weird. It's almost like I've told you they're paid propagandists the whole time. Anyway, let's see what else we have in here. I don't need to show the rest of that. You guys get the gist. And then this is just the cup on the little cherry on top. The link in the bio for the new headquarters 67 that Kamala Harris completely and totally punked all the Democrats currently goes to an empty Substack page that is coming soon. Y'all, you can't make this up. These are the exact same people who tell you you're losing, no one likes you, everyone's against your political opinions. These are the same people that say you suck and you might as well just go eat dirt. I mean, you punk your followers and you give them false hope that you're going to make a presidential run. Then you rebrand your Instagram and that's the big payoff. And then you get undermined by saying that, oh my God, all this money is coming from George Soros and a lot of other corrupt lefties. And then you out all the other corrupt lefty talking heads for getting $8,000 a month, also from the George Soros Foundation. And after all of that, the link in the bio after your big grand announcement goes to a empty Substack that says coming soon. Y'all suck at this. I'm sorry. I don't agree with you politically, but as individuals outside politics, y'all suck at this. Anyway, let me hear you in the chats and the comments. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. We are at another break in the moment. I think I know where I'm going next. I think it's the Schumer unraveling. Yeah, it is actually. See Axios up there. So, what we're going to do now, beautiful bastions of freedom, every one of you across this incredible nation, the fruited plain, as it were, as my, I'm a Rush baby, so I say a lot of things that are like, they're in there, right? So this is the fun part. I cherish this part because everything that I've told you, for honest to God, at least coming on 15 months now, ever since I started talking about this, is the far left progressives are going to eat the Democrats. They're going to hollow them out, just like a parasite hollows out a host. That's what's going to happen because the left has two options for the Democrats. They're either going to push them farther to the left or they remain a isolated wing with no power. They don't like no power. They're leftist. So they're going to move into the Democrat Party and they're going to move the entire thing to the left. It culminates in a Kamala Harris and Tim Walz complete and total loss in the popular vote, the Electoral College, the swing states, the most, the House and the Senate and the White House. That's what it culminates in. So what I'm about to show you is that lefty parasite coming out and eating Chuck Schumer's brain from the inside again. And that says something because he eats cheeseburgers with plastic on it. Anyway, he doesn't really, but it is a funny image. If you get it and you know, you know. All right, here we go. Again, I'm going to do tons of contents like this. Man, you guys nailed that before I did. I see that. That's awesome. All right, so now is the part where we have a little bit of fun. These pesky lefties eating themselves. Needs to get the hell out. House Democrats fume at Schumer. Wait a minute. I thought, I really did, and I was told that all the Democrats were unified in the resistance to Trump, the fascism, the Nazi Gestapo, basically every authoritarian push that he's put forward. But it turns out that the House wants Chuck Schumer gone, and Chuck Schumer is negotiating with Trump on the whole ICE demands thing. And by the way, it's going to bring sanctuary cities down with it. Excellent. That video, I'm going to go through this article a little bit further later. It kind of, or on another video tomorrow, but it kind of lends to this, the topic lends to the next positions I'm showing you. So this is a left-wing account. And again, this is classic lefty. I mean, like, you can't make a more classic lefty move than this. Dems can't even commit to the most pathetic of half measures imaginable. They stand for nothing. Nothing, they say. Democrats soften their demand to ban masks for ICE, Huffington Post. Shocker. Okay, now I'm going to do a little bit of free consulting for the lefties. I'm going to go out of whack. I didn't even mean to do, I wasn't even going to do what I'm about to do. I'm going to give you free consultation services from a guy on the internet. All right. You know, what would really probably point you in the direction of what you expect in your Democrat politicians? You could probably look at, this one. Or this one? What about this one? If you follow the politics and you follow the actual polling and you follow the population and their opinions and you follow their positions, you'll know where the Democrats are going to go, just like you're going to know where the Republicans are going to go, because it's all based on preserving their own power. Politicians don't care about you instinctively. They care about their own power. That's why I don't trust politicians. I trust politicians' desire for preservation. It's much more efficient. That's why I vote like I'm losing, I grind like I'm losing, I share like I'm losing, and I focus like I'm losing. Because I don't make my goals aligned to them. I make my goals aligned to their preservation. It's amazing what you can get done. Very important distinction. But anyway, lefties, take it or leave it. I tried to give you something. I'm trying to help you out. A fellow American is trying to bring you along the lighted path. But you probably won't listen. That's okay. Now on to this part, because this is the best part, guys. When lefties start coming up with clips of old Chuck Schumer and they start releasing them, accidentally, and things start getting uncovered and old footage recovered and old footage comes to light. You know, those whole line. Well, it turns out that this is a pretty important thing because Chuck Schumer seems to be doing something that the left kind of wants, but also is kind of pissed it's not far enough. Reporter. Republicans seem to want some sort of changes to sanctuary city policies nationwide in order to agree to some larger deal. Uh-oh. You were too greedy, so now they're going after all the crown jewels. All right, watch this. Watch this, Schumer. 15 seconds. Go.
Republican senators seem to want some sort of changes to sanctuary city policies nationwide in order to agree to some larger deal.
That shows how unserious they are.
That's a non-starter.
That's bringing in a totally different issue. Yes.
Okay. So I'm just going to add, guy in the back, just for all the people. So you're telling me that ICE, deportations, immigration, and sanctuary cities are not related at all? Not at all. That's the big move. Come here. You know what? We're going to go big on this. That's the big angle that the leader of the Democrats in this minority party in the United States Senate wants to go with. ICE, maybe borders aren't part of this either. Borders, ICE, illegal immigration, legal immigration, and sanctuary cities. Of all those things that don't belong, sanctuary cities is not included in immigration issues. Really? You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I was actually going to offer a little bit of commentary on that and smoke it from orbit. But why would I do it when? Oh, where'd it go? Man, that would have been really good if I had that in the right order. Hold on a second. I gotta rearrange this real quick. Man, I swear I'm being a host and I'm being the camera guy. It's a problem. Where'd he go? Oh, here he is. Why would I do it when I can let them do it? I'll go back to those. Don't worry. All right. You know what, Chuck? I want to hear from you about you and your current positions. Here's Chuck Schumer in 1996. I was 10. So I was alive back then. This wasn't when brontosauruses roamed. This was 10. I was 10. This is 96. Watch this. Amazing what 30 years can do.
Thank the gentleman. Salute him for his work on this. Rise in support of the amendment. First of all, Social Security card is used from one end of America to the other as an identification card right now. Who are we kidding? If you want to pass a law and says it shouldn't be, I would ask the chairman and the distinguished minority member of the Social Security committee to pass that law. But let's admit the truth. Everywhere people go, they're asked for a Social Security card. In fact, one way to prove you're a bona fide person who can have a job is to ask for a driver's license and a Social Security card. This is an anti-fraud amendment. Over where we go, people say, well, why can't you stop illegal immigrants or others from coming here? And the number one answer we give our constituents is when they come here, they can get jobs, get benefits against the law because of fraud. And here, the gentleman from Florida has put together the most effective
I got to stop that. I'm going to have a coronary. My loyal lefties in the chat are going to die. This is for their own health and safety. What? You mean Chuck Schumer was on the floor of the Senate and said that? Man, first of all, he's been there 30 years, 40 years. Like, whoa. Whoa. But the other part to that is you're telling me that the number one reason people come to the United States illegally is so they can defraud programs like Social Security, and he wants to stop it by doing things like having IDs and Social Security numbers? I had no idea that Chuck Schumer was such a racist. Man. Golly, wonders never cease. Pause for dramatic effect. Amazing how these things just air up and magically pop up right when they're upset with Schumer, isn't it? It's like it's almost a big old archive of blackmail. Anyway, let's keep on trucking. Let's see what else he has to say in here. I'm just saying. I'm only a guy on the internet. Let's see what else he has to say.
Anti-fraud measure we can find without it changing the actions of the government one bit. And we find all this opposition. Ladies and gentlemen of this chamber, what I worry about is that this bill, which started out with good intentions, whether you agree with it or disagree with it, is going to end up being the same kind of thing that the public gets angry with us on. We say we're doing something, and we do nothing. Because every time someone makes a rational and small proposal to get something done, people say, well, what about this hypothetical, that hypothetical, etc. I urge support of this amendment. If you believe you want to stop fraud in immigration, you have no choice but to support this amendment.
Gentleman's time.
Holy Lord! I'll be candid with you. I hadn't watched the second half of that. I just figured there was going to be something good in there. I didn't expect him to say, go ahead and stop fraud and illegal immigration by using ID cards. Whoa. Man. See, it's that kind of stuff, guys. That's why you tune in. Anyway, let's see. Oh, yeah, there's the supermajority thing again. 67% want sanctuary policies gone. Chuck Schumer says it's completely unrelated. It's completely unrelated to immigration. I mean, like, I can't imagine why they want them to get the hell out. That's weird. What else we got over here? What else can I find? Oh, look, here's today. So I showed you Chuck Schumer 30 years ago. I showed you how Chuck Schumer is basically being told to get the hell out by the Democrats in the House. And then I'm also going to show you how MS Now, or BS Now, as a super chatter said earlier, is even making him a little bit uncomfortable. Guys, there's a lot of side notes in this episode. Side note. If you're on the left and you're on Democrats and the MS Now, which is literally propaganda 101 for the Democrats and the leftists, if they're saying, hey, you might want to back off on this, it's a little uncomfortable, you might want to listen, but you're not gonna because, you're Chucky Schumer. You grill your hamburgers with cheese in plastic. All right, watch this.
Jess, there's a new Pew Research poll that 95% of Republicans, but also 71% of Democrats like this idea. So why do you not?
Because Trump did it.
It's Jim Crow 2.0, and I called it Jim Crow 2.0, and the right.
Oh, I can't listen to that again today. Sorry, you've reached your quota of Braden listening to Jim Crow 2.0. There's the thing you need to see. 95% Republicans and 71% Democrats say, you know what, voter ID is pretty good. And they agree with Chuck Schumer 30 years ago, not of the far left who are just like, no IDs for anything, open borders because kumbaya and nothing bad will happen. Guys, it's wild. Wild. And this is the angle they're going. And this is a big portion of this video. So please let me know if I'm landing this plane with some comments, some chats, some emojis, targets, 100%. You guys know what to do. But this is where they're actually going. And I can tell you why it's where they're going, because you see all the consistency of all the talking points. You have Chuck Schumer, you have the senator I'm about to show you, and then you have the Fox News contingent, Jessica Tarlov. You have all of these people. I think that's her name. Whatever, doesn't matter. The token Democrat on Fox News. You have all these people parroting the exact same narrative, and it's always real stupid. All right, let's just get it. Watch this. This is Senator Padilla.
The real agenda here is to exploit immigrants in their desire to rig the election this November and hold on to power. That's what it's about for Republicans. We got to stand up for it. Stand up to it.
It sounds like you're not willing to negotiate on voter ID. Senator, I do want to ask you one. Go ahead.
But voter ID is a solution in search of a problem, because the truth is voter fraud in America is exceedingly.
All right, you get it. Exceedingly low, doesn't matter, doesn't count, whatever. Blah, 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 blah. Democrat talking point. Here's a crazy thought. And we're going to continue on this because I got even more tabs. Let's just say, hypothetically, and I don't agree with this at all, by the way, but hypothetically, let's say it's not a problem. Let's just say the problem has not been presented. There's been no instance of fraud. It's such a minor percentage. Again, this is all hypothetical. This is not real for me. So if it's a hypothetical not happened yet, don't you think you should probably put some voter ID possibilities and protocols in there to prevent it from potentially happening in the future? The argument of, we haven't seen an issue yet, A, is completely and totally stupid and idiotic. And B, is completely negating anything that could go wrong in the future. Like, it is literally a lose-lose position. That is the easiest thing in the world to refute. Either, yes, it has, we need voter ID, or no, it has not, but it could in the future, so we need voter ID. 71% of Democrats want it, 95% of Republicans want it. This is not difficult. But they can't get the voter ID thing because voter ID on the Democrat side wouldn't have negative implications. That's why they come out with the Jim Crow 2.0s. That's why they do the same talking points. They bring up random examples of how women get married, and in that window of after they get married, they won't be able to vote because they can't get new licenses for their name changes. Y'all, I'm not making this stuff up. I'm really not. I'm just playing stuff. These are actual clips. I actually have to go back to this guy. God, I gotta listen to say Jim Crow 2.0 again. I'm sorry. It's important for the next segment. Guys, you're with me on this. Let's get it. Chats, comments, emojis. Here we go. Back to Chucky Schumer. I swear if he says Jim Crow 2.0 again.
We went nuts all over the internet. That's because they know it's true. What they're trying to do here is the same thing that was done in the South for decades to prevent people of color from voting. For instance, if you change, you're a woman who got married and changed your last name, you won't be able to show ID and you'll be discriminated against. If you can't find a birth certificate or a proper ID, you'll be discriminated against. This is vicious and nasty. And I said,
God, I'm so glad you didn't say it again. Okay, it's not discrimination if you can't meet the requirements. This is such an asinine talking point. Well, it's discrimination. Really? Can you drive when you're under 16 years old? No. Why are you discriminating against 1 through 15-year-olds? God, just when I thought you were a rational human being, you go and discriminate against everyone who is 1 to 15 years old. No, there's just requirements. Hey, can I go and get an alcoholic beverage from a bar? Well, how old are you? I'm 19. No. Why are you discriminating against me? I feel viciously discriminated against. It's the most childish, idiotic examples of arguments on the planet. They are devolving. But anyway, I showed you this to bring you to this point. God, I can't wait until Katie gets a hold of this live stream. The amount of shorts we're going to get out of this is fire. But anyway, right back over to this. This is the token Democrat on Fox News. And I see the super chat I'm going to get in 1 second. I want to actually, I'm going to do it real quick just to kind of go with the flow because I don't want to forget it. Bulcupine, $5 super chat. The only issue I've ever had with voter ID is when states that passed it started closing DMVs and license bureaus in blue areas. Yeah, keep those open. Everyone gets access to them. It's very simple. That's not cool if you close them where people can vote and can't vote. That's not nice. That's not nice. That's not great. Fix that. Cool. Awesome. Everyone gets it. Equal access. Good talk. All right. So here's the other part. This is the token Democrat on, I think her name's Jessica. I'm pretty sure it's Jessica. I know it's Jessica. Tarkov or Tarlov, whatever. Here we go. You're going to hear something very similar, and this is how you know the emails went out, by the way.
Well, I think you would have a Democrat who would say, let's do voter ID, but that's not actually what the SAVE Act is. So Jim Clyburn's talked about this, and he said, I'm for voter ID. I'm not for disproportionate voter ID. And what the SAVE Act does is that it requires that you either have your birth certificate or your passport, which is different than accepting a driver's license, for instance. And the reason for that...
I don't know if that's true.
It is true. Read the bill.
Okay, I will.
I'm sorry, that might hurt you.
And then tomorrow we'll have to correct it.
Well, I won't be here,
there's no
so you can give it to Harold.
There's no way this bill requires people to show up with their birth certificates. Then Barack couldn't register.
Oh, snap. Okay, legitimately, I didn't know that was in there. Wow. This is the whole thing, guys. It's all about this. Oh, God, it's just stupid. You're going to have a passport. You're going to have your blood type. You're going to have all these things, and no one's going to be able to vote. It's idiotic. You have to have an ID to get any type of food stamp benefit, and you have a SNAP benefit, any type of, in a lot of cases, employment, in some cases, non-employment. Like, literally, IDs for everything. IDs to go to there's someone said in the chat earlier, you have to have an ID to get into the city dump. I mean, literally, it's like IDs are everywhere. It's not difficult. And that was pretty funny about the Barack thing. But anyway, let's keep on going. There's something I want her to say that's going to resonate. Hold on a second. Get through Jesse Waters getting me in trouble.
First of all,
we believe he's American.
There is a very strong case, actually, that the SAVE Act will hurt more Republicans than it will Democrats. So
Bring
the
it
people
on.
who
So
will
why
be
wouldn't
most
you want to do it?
affected-
Bring
Fine.
it on.
Let's go,
I
baby.
think, if you want me to explain, I can, but. Sure. I mean, so President Trump is basically saying that the SAVE Act as it's written, he's like, look, don't try to sink the DHS funding for that. He's for Real ID, but so are 85% of Americans for Real ID. And it has to go through the committee process, et cetera. Don't shut down the government over it. We all agree there should be ID at the voting booth.
Oh, yeah. I'm not even talking about the DHS funding fight. I'm talking about the fact that if you look at estimates right now, so 21 million Americans don't have ready access to either their passport or their birth certificate. 50% of Americans don't have a passport at all. If you want to talk about who has a passport versus who doesn't, we can get into that and where they might vote. Then on top of it, to your voter fraud idea, people do actually look into it. Even like the Heritage Foundation, very conservative, found 35 illegal aliens voted in 2024. Utah just did a review of 2 million people in their voter rolls, came up with one non-citizen registration and no non-citizen
Utah, try
voting.
California.
So getting rid of also universal mail-in voting, which is part of this, would affect a red state in Utah, Nevada that also voted for Trump.
Yeah, we have less than
Okay, here, I'll speak on behalf of all the Republicans that I know. Okay, that sounds good. You tell me the requirements that it takes to vote, and I'll do them. Easy. But we'll get rid of mail-in voting. This is not a bit, it's going to hurt Republicans. No, don't care. No mail-in voting, have an ID, very, very simple. Everything's secure, you're there in person, make it a whole federal weekend. I don't care. Like, have a mandated day off. I don't care either. But the whole point here is it's just idiotic, the arguments they're making. They're just stupid because they're in the face of 85% of Americans are like, yeah, no, that makes sense. And oh, look, something else we've covered. Again, I'm telling you guys, God, we're at 45 minutes and we're just having fun. I'm just going to keep on rolling. All right. I see you guys defending the chat's honor over there. I appreciate each and every one of you little chat warriors. All right. This part is another episode of CNN where they're going, maybe we should abandon the whole no voter ID thing because everyone's agreeing with Nicki Minaj.
So voter ID, just so people understand, is the idea that someone shows a photo ID when they go to vote, when they go to cast their actual ballot, because there's a separate discussion right now about needing a passport or a birth certificate to register to vote, but the polling is all on voter ID showing an ID to vote.
Showing a photo ID to vote, and the American people are with Nicki Minaj, because what are we talking about here? So take a look here, favor voter ID to vote. Look, I got all this polling on the screen going back since 2018. You'll notice on all of it, it's all north of 75%, 76%, 76%, 76%, 81%, and then 83% in the last year of Americans agree with Nicki Minaj. They favor photo ID to be able to vote.
What about by...
They do not agree with Nicki Minaj. They agree with Donald Trump. And they agree with you. And they agree with me. This is not a, oh my God, they agree with some random rapper on the internet. No! They agree with everybody. They're the dumb ones. You don't get to play the game of, I cannot believe that 90% of my peers they agree with someone else. No, 90% of your peers just disagree with you, dummy. I mean, like, you even got Democrats in here. God in heaven. All right, watch this. This same party stuff. Hold on.
Party. What's the party break?
Yeah, normally you might expect, hey, there'd be a big divide by party with Republicans really for it and Democrats really against it. But not really here. I mean, just take a look here. Favor photo ID to vote. You got 95% of Republicans, pretty much all of them, but even 71% of Democrats favor.
Because it is the most basic of common sense. The people who cannot agree if a man is a man, a woman is a woman, men can be men or women or whatever you want, or a freaking ficus, men can get pregnant, but they can figure out that they want voter ID. Y'all, I mean, you understand this? Like, they have conversations around identity and preferred pronouns, and they still agree with voter ID. I mean, like, my God. Anyway, man, we're gonna have a lot of fun in the shorts for tomorrow. Oh, by the way, completely unrelated, no big deal. Chip Roy just put in the SAVE Act. It just went to the scheduled floor for a vote in the House next week. Just want to throw that out there. Might cover that live stream. Breaking: Speaker Johnson has just put the Save America Act on the schedule for a floor vote next week. Well, what do you know? First of all, why the actual F is that even in a bill and not already a law? What the? citizen requirement in elections? Okay, let's let Chip Roy. Guys, I'm getting animated. This is getting kind of fun now. All right, Chippy, take us away.
Hey everybody, it's Chip Roy from Texas 21, and I'm standing outside the House chamber where next week we are going to move, thanks to the leadership of the Speaker and Leader Scalise, we're going to move H.R. 7296, the Save America Act, legislation that I filed over here in the House and that my friend Mike Lee filed in the Senate. This is common sense legislation. It will require citizenship to register to vote, and it will require voter ID at the polls. This is an issue that polls at something like 80%, regardless of your race, regardless of your background. This is common sense stuff that we think we should move. The SAVE Act, by the way, has passed on a bipartisan basis twice off of the House floor. The problem is Chuck Schumer and the Democrats have been blocking it. So now we're calling on Leader Thune to change this and to force what we call a talking filibuster so that we can force a vote on the Senate floor.
All right. There will be much more conversation about this. We will cover all of this because this is very important. Very, insanely important. This whole thing, remember I told you, and this is the important part, guys, and I'm gonna save the next few for you for another episode because I'm running out of time. You have to understand that when I said earlier something's brewing, it was a video. I think the video was like 3 days. I think it was Monday. It might have been 2 days, 3 days ago, and the thumbnail was something's brewing in D.C. This is what's brewing. Right, let me show you. Right, that's what's brewing. They're putting forward the Save America Act. Remember all the assurances that I told you with Representative Luna, and that was highly unusual, and for them to do the wheeling and dealing in the game that they're playing? This is what it's all coming down to. They're going to put a bill, it's already scheduled for a floor vote next week, that Chip Roy put in the House. That's the Save America Act. That's the voting for citizens and voter ID. That goes into the House, and it's already passed multiple times. It passes multiple times, and yet again, and it's going to go to the Senate. Now, here is where this is really important, and this is why you've got to make sure you are liked, subscribed, your notification bell is on. This is important. Seriously. I'm going to give you updates on this, but if if John Thune in the Senate holds this back, he's toast. They're toast. It's all toast. Donald Trump has put post thought about it. I'm telling you, all the mechanics are working. All the individual pieces of the machine is rolling in a certain direction. John Thune can do something called a standing filibuster versus a zombie filibuster. The filibuster that they're talking about is they have to stand there and talk and talk and talk until they exhaust themselves. And since most of them are 80 years plus, I have high confidence that it won't be that long. But that's what you're talking about. If this is going to be a make or break for John Thune. He got a little bit of a pass in the big, beautiful bill. The 2A community was really upset, and there were some other special interest groups that were really upset with him for the whole parliamentarian thing. But this one, if this one fails, if it goes out of the House, and it's about voter ID and citizens can vote only, and it fails because of John Thune, oh, that's going to really be bad. Really, really, really be bad. But I have high faith and confidence that when we've aligned our desires with the politician's self-preservation, we can get amazing things done. That's what we're going to be watching this entire weekend and into the week, because this is going to happen. I'm actually curious what this little tab is. Hold on a second. Nah, that's another video too. But honestly, guys, keep grinding, keep chatting, keep sharing, vote like you're losing, be engaged like you're losing. We have an amazing opportunity to save our country and send the progressive, the leftist, all that far left insanity into the dustbin of history. We do. We honestly do. There's no time for the chicken little. There's no time for the black pilling. Throttle all the way to the floor. I love each and every one of you, just the right amount that makes you feel comfortable. And for those that require me to say something else, you can be uncomfortable too. It's cool. I don't care. Whatever. There's enough love to go around. And thank you guys for watching. We had an amazing episode. I hope it lived up to your expectations. I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden.